Hello. I just spent 10 minutes in the wrong Zoom. Oh, hilarious! I was so ready. Thought I was there early and everything. I thought it's really quiet. Why is nobody joining? I was in the wrong one.
I thought you said you were going to dial in earlier.
Yeah, I'm always there early, and then I suddenly realised I was in the wrong thing. Blimey. That's what comes with being over-organised. You kind of thought I was like being super cool, getting there ready. Right.
And you're expecting 26.
26. Okay, thank you. Helen, meet Joanne. Joanne, meet Helen. They're above each other on my screen. Right. Hello, Emma.
Hi, hi, nice to meet you.
Hello, Sandra.
Oh, hello there. How are you?
Good, thanks. You?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
You're very prompt, ladies. It's just fabulous. Hopefully, everyone start to join in now. Yes, here we go. As they come through, I'll keep a checklist of where we are. Certainly going to get more challenging with more screens. Hello, Joe.
Oh, she disappeared.
Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hello. Hey. Love to see everybody popping through.
How's everybody?
Hi.
Hi there.
I know we both put lipstick on since our call this morning, Hayley.
I know. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I went out in the garden, had my lunch, sat out there for half an hour, and I got really pink in the sun. And I came back and I thought I look like a gnome. So I thought if I put some lipstick on, my cheeks might look quite pink.
I like the logic.
Yeah.
You need to take that fishing hat off.
Yeah.
We've got the most amazing blue sky. There is not a cloud in the sky. Have you got the same?
It's incredible, yeah.
Stunning.
Just
Yeah,
incredible, yeah. Beautiful.
I think you guys in the UK have got all our Spanish weather.
Yeah, we've had weeks of beautiful weather, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Raining solidly here for the last 4 days.
Oh, no.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of typical for this time of year in Mallorca, but yeah, it's been pretty grotty.
Gosh, we win.
You definitely do.
Right. So we've got 12 in now. We'll just give it another minute or so, Joanne, and then we'll kick off.
Cool.
Can't see anybody. Sometimes I can see people queuing to get in, depending on how quick it is, but it seems to be going quite quick today. No. There we go. Fabulous. Okay, should we get started? We might get the odd person join as we go, but I make it 3 minutes past. Is that the same as everybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get started. Okay. So good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Women's Utility Network Weekly Call. You may just notice that I quickly muted all of you. That's one of the benefits of being the host on this. I can control it. You can unmute yourself. So when we start to have conversations, that we can unmute yourself. But when we've got a speaker talking, if everyone's got their microphones open, even if you're not talking, we can get a lot of background interference, make it really difficult for you to hear. But for those who've not joined before, firstly, welcome. I am one of the founders of WUN, also accompanied by Joe Butlin. Joe, can you give us a wave? So we've been hosting these. This is our third week now that we've been hosting these events and trying to put a variety of things on each week. We're doing them for a number of reasons. We've just got it summarised here. It's so people have a place to drop in and feel connected, to share and gain knowledge, to get that positive interaction, because we're all there for each other, to talk about daily challenges, to have some designated talk time and a bit of a space for creativity. So each week we're going to follow the same format. So we get everybody together. We'll have a topic or a speaker where we'll go through some slides and share. There'll be an opportunity for either breakout rooms or questions and answers. It's just an opportunity for everybody to sort of join in and get involved. We're really interested, as always, in what you guys would like to hear and see. So far, if you've not come previously, we've looked at the change curve and how we might feel, because we're not in control at the moment, so we have to stay in, and we're all on a different journey with that. We've looked at how to manage these video calls and how to present ourselves and how to get the best out of a video call. And then this week we've got Joanne Smalley talking us about managing your profile and how you can continue to do that while you're online. We've got a few more things lined up, which we're posting and sharing each week on LinkedIn, our social media channels. So more and more of you are obviously seeing them, because more and more of you are joining each week, which is fantastic. But as always, really love to hear from you. So please do feel free to drop something in the chat if you've got some idea of what you would like. The chat button can be found on your toolbar. You can either send it to chat just to me if you've got an idea, or you can send it to everyone and see if there's interest there. So that's a bit about what we're doing and why we're doing it. If you're new to Zoom, as I said, we'll keep everything everybody muted to start with. You can ask questions and put them in the chat. You can other activities on here. You should have maybe a reaction one if you want to do a thumbs up or that kind of thing. Or I like just a good old wave if you find you want to physically ask a question, but actually lots of people are talking, and with 20 plus on here, it can get a bit challenging. If you just kind of wave, we'll make sure that we come to you so that you can ask a question, because it can be quite challenging. Jade, I think you've just asked the question, have previous sessions been recorded? I think the last one, definitely. The first one, I will have to check. I know we intentionally recorded the last one. We are recording this one. For those of you curious what happens when we go to the speaker, you don't all get recorded. So it's actually only Joanne's face and the screen that gets recorded. So you don't have to worry about what pose you're in as we go to the slides. You won't be on film there. So yeah, future one on net zero. I will come to that at the end. That's definitely a great question. So thank you. Okay, so I'm going to hand over in a moment to Joanne Smalley. Joanne is a familiar face at the Women's Utility Network, and she's presented before. And we're going to hand over to her for 20 minutes to talk to you about optimizing your LinkedIn profile and using your personal brand to support career development. So for those of you who don't know Joanne, here's a bit about her. Background in utilities, experienced marketeer, general go-to person if you want some good words to go on your LinkedIn profile or to gain any marketing information. So perfect person with the knowledge of the sector and her job role to be helping us today. So on that note, I'm going to stop sharing the slides that I have here in front of me, and hand over to Joanne, who can start to share her screen and take you through her slides. Joanne, unmute.
Oh,
Okay, I've unmuted you.
excellent. Thank you. Bear with me. Hi, everybody. I'm just about to share my screen now. Can everybody see everybody see a different slide deck? Excellent. I'm going to start my timer so I know how long I'm rammeting on it for. Thanks very much to Juan for inviting me to speak to you all today. It's a bit of a weird time. We're not doing any face-to-face networking. So we're completely relying on social media. So I thought it'd be a really good opportunity to talk to you about developing your personal brand and your profile. And I'm going to focus mainly on LinkedIn because that seems to be the professional platform that we're all using at the moment. This is a whistle-stop tour. This is part of a larger presentation I give on LinkedIn in general, which takes an hour. So apologies if I rattle through it. Opportunities to ask lots of questions at the end, and feel free to email me afterwards with any questions you may have about anything you've seen here. So first and foremost, I'm going to whistle through this one. Why is LinkedIn so important? For those of you who might not be aware, there's over 500 members on LinkedIn. 260 million of them, that's globally, 260 million of them log in every month. 40% of those log in daily. 61 million of them are senior influencers and 40 million of them are decision makers. And fundamentally, 75% of the UK working population has a LinkedIn account. It's estimated that 95% of recruiters use LinkedIn to refine candidates. I'm surprised it's as low as that. I would have thought it would be 100, but there we go. A little bit of wiggle room there. But fundamentally, there has been a 50% uplift in conversations between members on LinkedIn during lockdown. So what we're actually seeing is a shift away from a sales conversation, which is what we might have seen before on LinkedIn, to a more empathetic human networking kind of approach to how people are using LinkedIn during this period. There's been a massive 70% plus increase in how people are using LinkedIn learning. And obviously people are taking this time as an opportunity to learn more and increase their skills. So it's a good time to be focused on building your network socially and through LinkedIn. So getting your profile right is about thinking about your personal brand. Now, some people here may have attended the session we did all the way back last year on your personal brand, but doing it on social media is slightly different. The thing we have to focus with is it's about how we write about ourselves. So think about what jobs you're looking for, what contacts you want to network with, and what experiences you've got listed on your profile. Your profile is your online representation of your brand. So fundamentally, it needs to be able to speak about you in an honest and open way. Fundamentally as well, LinkedIn is a search engine. It works in the same way as Google. It thinks about keywords. So if people are looking for your profile, they're going to be doing it through the medium of keywords. So make sure the keywords that you've got on your profile are representative of your personal brand. A good starting point, if you're a little bit lost about this, is to think about how people are currently finding your profile. So the first thing to do is go to your profile online. Underneath your header section, there'll be something called your dashboard. And on the right-hand side of your dashboard, it shows you who's viewed your profile, the number of post views you've had, and the number of times you've appeared in search, which is the element that's ringed in red there. So if we click through from there, we should, there we go. Once you click through, you can see the companies that your searchers are working at. And then also below that, you can see the keywords that searchers have used to find your profile. I would recommend as your starting point to go in and have a look at the keywords that people are using to find your profile. Here it says I'm a marketing consultant. Brilliant, my profile is working. It's got the right keywords in it. People are searching for the right thing and finding my profile. Go in and check that people are finding you for the right things. If there's lots of random keywords in there, then your profile needs some work and it's not popping up for the right search terms. Okay, so your starting point, let's go to your profile in case. Your starting point is your headline. This is 130 characters. that sits immediately below your title, and is very much your top level elevator pitch of who you are and what you do. It doesn't have to be your job title. It can be a collection of phrases that accurately describes you. So think about the roles or jobs you might want to be found for. Who do you want to connect with, and what kind of things do you want to be known for? Be as broad as possible, but be accurate. So you've got 130 characters. Think about how you can best use all of those characters to describe what you're doing. Think about those keywords. So are you an analyst? Are you in smart metering? Do you do billing, operations? Make sure you talk about energy if you're looking for a job, or you're looking to connect with people in the energy sector. Make sure that people, when they look at your headline, get a really good snapshot of who you are and what you do. And it doesn't have to be fixed either. So I regularly play with my headline, tweak it around, move words around. It's up to you really, but every 3 to 4 weeks I go in and have a little fiddle and see how things perform, make sure it doesn't affect my keywords the next couple of weeks. So don't think once you've fixed it there, it should be fixed forever. And that's something about your profile as a whole. Keep editing, it's a constant thing. Don't think once you've done it you can move on and forget about it, because that's not the case. So secondly, so your headline appears on the left-hand side of the screen, it appears under your profile, but it also appears every time you post, and fundamentally every time you comment. So every time you interact with a piece of content from somebody else on LinkedIn, or you post a piece of content, your headline is up there front and center. But also the thing to see is if you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, you only get about the first 75 characters that appear. I don't know why LinkedIn do that, but the rest of it's all faded out. So think about those first 75 characters and make sure that they're important, because every time you're commenting, those will appear. And that's a free advert for you as a person, which is fantastic. Other things that are important, your profile image and header image. LinkedIn profiles with photos get 21% more views, and sorry, I can't see that now. Don't worry, there's 21% more views and 36% more messages. Make sure when you put your photo up, you check the settings. I would recommend that you have your photo visible to all. If it's a professional photo, there's no reason really why it shouldn't be. Because if people aren't connected with you, if that setting's not changed, then they won't be able to see your photo, and those numbers don't apply. Okay, so what is it about images? Profile photos should obviously be professional and approachable. They should be representative of you, but remember, it's not Facebook. I personally don't like the formalized, for me personally, don't like the formalized ones with the standard backdrop. Every time I have them, I think they look hideous of me. So I much prefer active shots. Think about something that represents you and is accurate of who you are as a person. Like to think I'm quite energetic and enthusiastic, and I hope my profile photo shows that. If we go back on the header image, you can see here that the free space is all on the right-hand side of the page. Your profile picture sits on the left-hand side of the page. So if you're going to put other information into your header bar, think about making sure you utilize the right-hand side of the page. The optimum size for your header is 1584 by 296 pixels. That's a very random number. LinkedIn is quite random in the way it does that. So don't assume that it will always fit perfectly. For those who haven't come across it, canva.com is a great tool for allowing you to create free images and it in a graphic design kind of way. And it also has a setup template for LinkedIn header bars. So we've got our pictures right. The next thing to think about is our personal profile, which is a more detailed explanation of your skills and experience. Again, keywords are critical here. So think about the words that you're putting into your personal profile. This is your more detailed elevator pitch. You can see here I've put about 3 to 4 key, short, snappy paragraphs. You don't want people scrolling and scrolling and scrolling to read. You want to get across what people want to read very quickly. And think about your call to action as well. What do you want people to do or say or think about you when they've read your personal profile? Obviously, I'm promoting my business here, so I've asked people to get in touch. But if you can say something like, you know, if I'd love to connect with these kind of people, are you interested in this? Please get in touch. whatever. So think about driving a call to action at the end of your profile. Skills and endorsements. This is a weird little one that sits at the bottom of your personal profile. This was introduced about 15, 20 years ago by LinkedIn, and it used to be represented by lots of weird little pictures of the people who'd endorsed you alongside it. I've never really understood the purpose behind this, and I don't think LinkedIn have ever really optimized it perfectly. But evidence does suggest, anecdotal evidence from recruitment consultants does suggest that if you have endorsements for something people are searching for, say marketing skills, if you have lots of endorsements for those, you will appear higher up in the search function. So by all means, add new skills, which you can do manually yourself, and ask people to endorse you for those skills. So it certainly can't help your harm your profile, and it may boost you up the rankings when people are searching. The next one is recommendations. You can see I'm quite enthusiastic about these. They are definitely a good way of describing the kind of work you do and how good you are at it. You have to be proactive in seeking recommendations. You need to go out and ask for them. At the bottom of this page, where the recommendation section is on your profile, you can see there's Ask for Recommendation button there. Click on that. It will ask you to put in the name of the person you're seeking for the recommendation from. I think you have to be connected with them. It will ask you the nature of your relationship with them, whether they managed you, whether you managed them, whether you worked on a project, and it will give you a note to personalise that. Do not be shy to tell people what you want them to say. I would always recommend giving people a very strong hint on the types of skills you want them to put into your profile. So for example, saying, you know, I'm really good at project work, very good at working with others, really responsive, an expert in a certain area. So don't be shy for asking people, of course, in the nicest possible way, about which skills you want them to share. Moving on to your experience. The key thing to remember is to make sure that the jobs you have listed reflect the type of jobs you want to be found for. Again, it comes down to this search thing. What I would say is a little creative license is acceptable in terms of aligning your profile with the types of jobs or people you want to connect with. Do not overinflate your experience or seniority. You know, do not lie, but it's perfectly acceptable to use terms that are more appropriate to the type of job you're looking for. Again, if a recruiter or a contact is looking for a certain person, they will type in, I am looking for a metering analyst. If you don't have metering analyst mentioned in any of your job experience, you will not come up in that search. It's a key thing to bear in mind. So again, it's really critical that you think about the search and the keywords that you're using. Availability. I'm sure everybody knows this, but there is a button that you can select in your profile that allows you to notify to be open for opportunities. Again, that doesn't appear to people in your own company, and that only appears to recruiters. So make sure you, if you are looking for work or you're looking for different opportunities, make sure that button is ticked. You can always use phrases like open to new opportunities in your profile if you want to be more public about it, or you can tick, for example, maybe you're on an interim contract or you're looking to finish your work and pick up something later in the year, you can use sort of available from. If you're out of work currently and you're looking to boost your profile but don't want to say you're currently out of work, available from April 2020, May 2020 is a really good way of doing that. You can, another note on that one, you can actually always also list the types of jobs you're looking for on your profile, which is a good way to attract attention. So we've done all this, we've got a wonderful profile, it's all singing, all dancing. What do we do to build our network? First rule of thumb, I'm very up on this one. Basic etiquette, always send a note with a contact request, unless it's really obvious how you know somebody. So unless you're sat in a room at a meeting with somebody or you know them incredibly well, please, please, please always send a note with your connection request. And don't just say something like, I'd really like to connect with you. Duh. Of course you would. That's great. That's why you're sending me the request. I get so many saying, I'm looking to extend my network. Brilliant. Bully for you. What are you bringing to me? What are you bringing to the table? Why should I connect with you? LinkedIn is like a physical network. It has to be a win-win situation for both people. So always try and write something. I mean, I quite often, if I connect with people that in a field I'm interested in, say for example remote work, I'll always say something. I'm really interested in the content you're producing. It looks like you're doing some really interesting stuff. I'd really like to connect with you, so I can read more of that, if that's okay. You know, if you're interested in something they're doing, or you used to work with them, or you're past, I see we work in the same industry, our paths will probably be crossed in the past. It'd be really nice to connect. But it has to be a win-win opportunity for both. It's a bit trickier to do this on mobile. If you're on the mobile app and you click connect, it just sends an invitation straight away. So the thing to remember here is don't click on the connect button, which is on the left-hand side of your screen as you're looking at it. Go to more, and you'll see it'll give you the opportunity to personalize your invite, and that gives you the way to write your note on the mobile app. I'm forever pressing connect, forgetting this, so you can cancel connection message requests and then resend again with the personalized invite. But you get in the habit of pressing that quite quickly. Okay, so quickly, how does LinkedIn actually work? LinkedIn prioritizes content that sparks conversations. Its mission is to serve its users content from people you know, talking about the things that you care about. So it's always worth having this at the back of your mind when you're on the platform. Basically, you're looking to spark a conversation with people, which sounds really easy, right? LinkedIn rewards posts that gets likes and comments, and in third place shares, and content that gets a response very quickly. So it's worth thinking about the content you're pushing out there. Is it of interest to people? Why are you creating that content? And critically, you need to interact with content too. So if you're just sitting and lurking on the platform and not interacting with any of the content, not commenting, not getting your headline on other people's posts, LinkedIn won't boost your contact in everybody else's feed. And the thing to remember is LinkedIn doesn't serve your content to every one of your followers or your connections. It used to, but now there's so many people with so many connections that LinkedIn only pushes content into people's feeds if it thinks it's interesting. And the only way it thinks it's interesting is if that content gets lots of interaction and sparks a conversation. So you're aiming to create interesting conversation that you can get people to comment on. How do you do that, I hear you ask? So, how do we boost interaction? A really good way of doing that quickly is to tag other people straight into your posts. Make sure it's relevant to them. Make sure it's about generating a conversation. Don't do it randomly, because that's just bad. You can see here I've got 2 posts that I tagged people into that was relevant to them, and that boosted the followers quite high very, very quickly, that generated a number of comments, and that meant it got out to a much wider audience. So think about tagging people that are relevant to the conversation into your posts. Another way to do it is to ask a specific question. This necessarily didn't get masses of views, but it got 7 comments quite quickly because I was asking a question that was very specific to my audience. So think about asking a question of people and seeing what kind of response you can get. The third one is to be a little, and I put this in speech marks, a little controversial. That helps to create a discussion. People who follow me on LinkedIn and connect with me know I every so often go into rants. And this was a bit of a rant about backbilling. I spent years working in media teams of press offices in the Big Six dealing with black billing. And I know damn well that we stopped this years ago. So I was very, very cross to see this news story crop up again. Posted it with a little bit of a rant, and look at that, all of a sudden 4,500 views. And I think that one's still going, actually, still building up views now. So think about how controversial you're prepared to be. Remember, you're representing the company you currently work for as well as yourself, but it's always a good way to spark a conversation. And then think about the time and day of your posting. Think about when is the best time to get your posts. This is global engagement. Engagement levels will vary by city, by location. In London, for example, loads of people sit on LinkedIn between 7 and 9 in the morning because they're on public transport. If you're in a place where lots of people drive to work, that's not going to be the case unless they're in their car on LinkedIn, which doesn't bear thinking about. So think about the time of the day that you actually submit the posts. Wednesday lunchtime is bang on is the optimum. The darker the post, the higher the engagement you get. And mornings tend to be better as well. Friday afternoon I've not had much success with because people tend to have checked out. But interestingly, engagement figures here are really low on a Saturday and a Sunday afternoon. I've had quite good responses posting on late on a Sunday evening, because actually senior people tend to be thinking about the work and then logging back into LinkedIn, and you get a level of interaction at that point. But have a think about the time of the day that you're posting if you want lots of interaction with your posts. So that was a whistle-stop tour. I'm quite out of breath. I apologise. As I say, I usually cover these things in about an hour. So some of the questions to think about when you go into the breakout is what stops you developing your profile? And are there any questions you've got about how LinkedIn works or how you can personally improve your profile? Things to discuss. More than happy to answer those questions later if we've got time, or you can email me, joanne@cardanecoms.co.uk. And then I think that is my 20 minutes. So I'm going to hand it over to Hayley again.
Thank you, Joanne. Can you just repeat the question? You want them to have a
Yeah, so it's thinking about what is there anything stopping you? Are there any things you're thinking about that would stop you from working on your profile? A lot of people are a bit scared about LinkedIn because it's so public. So are there any specific things that we can help with, or that people can discuss with their colleagues about things that might stop them working with LinkedIn, and any questions they've got that they can bring back around how LinkedIn works and the best things to do to optimize your LinkedIn profile that I might not have covered?
Thank you very much. So what we'll do for those of you who are new to this again, we're going to put you into breakout rooms. I know majority of you have your cameras working. For those of you who don't, please, if you do put them on in the breakout room, because it's really quite difficult for whoever gets paired up with you to have a conversation with a blank screen. So we're going to switch you into breakout rooms now. It'll do it automatically, randomly. I don't choose who goes where. It just kind of happens as if by magic. We will give you about 5 minutes to have that conversation with each other about things that you've learned, things that you might put in place, what's stopping you from putting those in place, the things that Joanne talked about. And then I will give you a bit of a warning to come back. So in the minute something's going to pop on your screen, invite you to go to the room. If you click on it, you will go to a room with just 2 screens in, you and somebody else. You can only hear each other. We can't hear you. So you can carry on that conversation, and then we'll all come back together at the end. Just make sure I've got enough rooms. There we go. Au revoir. But I'm on this call. I've just gone. No, she's not on. Oh. She just said, message me, speak. I'm on the call because I won't be able to speak for 15 minutes.
How many 11 pants did you order?
I think I ordered 4.
They're $14.99.
Yeah, the 3-litre ones are all right.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what the password is.
Sorry, Emma.
That's okay. No,
We
we've
cut
got,
off halfway through our conversation.
yeah, that's fine.
Hey, that worked really well today. No one got stuck. I'm just waiting for everybody to come back and join us. Oh. I don't think I can fit any more pictures on my screen. I've got so many pictures on now. I'm just waiting. Oh, Joanne, you're there. What's really confusing is when everybody like sort of get where everybody is, and when they all come back, you call kind of it's like run around, and everyone's gone to a different sort of box. I couldn't see where everybody was. Okay, so I think we've got everybody back now. Does anybody like to share anything? Any thoughts or feedback? It's got 5 minutes now to have a share some feedback, or if you've got any questions you'd like to ask Joanne directly, you can either do that through the chat, or you can actually unmute yourself and ask a question.
Hi, Hayley, it's Bishaki here.
Hi there.
Hi, I was just joking with Nicola that I'm unable to switch on my video because my son's school emails and things are linked to this device and his emails are overriding it. So anyway, cut a long story short, one day I will be able to work this technology. I just found this session today extremely useful, so I just wanted to thank you for organising it.
Well done. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you very much. And I know it's not always easy with some of the technology and some of the cameras and things like that, because none of us were all set up originally to do all this, were we? But we do the best we can. I'm glad you found it useful. Any other questions or comments? Questions for Joanne?
Hello there. If I could just say, yes, I found today's session really useful. I've been a user of LinkedIn since 2009, and I thought I knew quite a bit, but I certainly learnt quite a lot from Joanne today. One thing I was just discussing with my colleague, sorry, I can't remember her name, I was just paired with, is, sorry, she's a consultant, but I've just forgotten her name, is in the, Joe, sorry, in the headline where you can, you know, say about what you do or perhaps what you might want to be, want to go on to do, how could you introduce that in the headline without making your employers suspicious? or should you just put in your headline what you are currently doing if you're in work?
I think your employer, that's a really challenging one, obviously. And it's an interesting one. I think always lead with perhaps what you're doing right now if you're in that situation, but also you can always put things like interested in, which kind of, you know, you have interests outside work. I'm a marketing consultant in the energy sector, but I'm also really, really interested in remote work. So I make sure I represent remote work in my headline. So you could always put interested in these kind of things within that. But that's without knowing the circumstances. If it's fundamentally different to what you're doing at work, then it's probably one that to address on a case-by-case basis. And I'm more than happy to have an offline conversation with you about that, because it can be quite challenging sometimes.
Right.
There you go. There's an offer, Sandra.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. What I mean, you're all giving some great feedback. It's brilliant. But I wanted to quickly launch a poll, which I've sent out now. You should all see it on your screen. Just some quick feedback in terms of what you thought of today's session. It's really brilliant for us to get feedback. So making sure that we're hitting the mark with some of the things that we're doing, which is absolutely brilliant. So
I'm not going to comment on this, obviously.
Yeah, so we'll have one down, and probably well, actually, no, I can't actually vote on it because I'm running the poll, but I'll add my comment on afterwards. Okay, so anybody else going to put one in? Or we've got a couple of seconds in there. Right, fantastic. Thank you very much. That was really, really helpful. It's always great to get feedback. And it's been brilliant to get some ideas for some future sessions as well. So again, if you have any ideas for future sessions, please do. You can message any of the founders. You'll find us all on the one group, or you might even have messaged us before, email addresses, things like that, or save them up for the session next week. Again, same time, same place. Next week we'll be here. So it's 3 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon. You can register for it at the TicketTailor site, and then you'll get the link the day of the event as well, with any of the information. So that's where we are now. Does anybody have any other questions or anything else they'd love to share with everybody before we call it a day? No? Well, it was a pleasure to see all your lovely faces, as it always is, and look forward to seeing you all again next week. In the meantime, stay safe. Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Joanne. Sorry, I should have said a big thank you to Joanne as well.